This is a super good running car. This is probably one of the best cars I've driven, including all previous cars I've owned and all rental cars. Very economical, good strong car. And so now we're going to look at the fuel pressure gauge. This is a 1995 2.6 Isuzu pickup. I'm not going to call it a Holden Rodeo because, as you can see, all the badges are all Isuzu. There's nothing about Holden anywhere. And I put this fuel pressure gauge on. It lasted 1 month. Now I'll try and get the make of it. Okay, so here's my order. That's the fuel gauge there. I got it from Magnum Pro 1 on eBay. It cost $22.49 Australian and $7.20 to get it here. I'm going to try and click on the no, I won't be able to get any information. That's it. It's got no make. This is the new one. It's got Marshall, Anaheim, California. It's liquid filled from Horsepower Club, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This only cost $20 and $10 to get here, so it's not much more than the other one. So what I'll be doing is I'll just film the installation of it, and I'll wait about 2 or 3 months, and then at the end of the film I'll give the verdict. Okay, so as you can see, there's not very much fuel pressure. It's just above 20 psi, and it goes up to about 29, 28 psi. So I don't know if that turned up on camera, but that's your 20, that's your 30, and that's your 40. So I've got glasses on to protect my eyes from the petrol if any squirts out. So this is at about 0 psi at the moment, so just being careful not to get it in my eyes, just being careful and wary that there may be fuel pressure there. Be very careful not to get any of this Teflon inside the fuel system. Okay, so we've got item MNS00100. Range is 0 to 100 psi. I think it's a great looking unit, looks like it's oil filled. It says shockproof, Marshall, Anaheim, as I said before, CA, and it's got the numbers 928, looks like 06, 928 06. And it's a Marshall, and that would be my last name if it wasn't for the Second World War. I won't bore you with the details. So I'm just getting any bits of Teflon off the tape for good luck. So I'm going to make sure that there's no Teflon around this area where it sits inside of the fuel system, only on the thread. So like that, just back a bit from the edge of the thread, like so. these threads have a binding property. Well, I think the thread on the holder here, the T-junction, and the thread on these fuel pressure gauges are a little bit different, and it binds and it sort of bottoms out as you turn it in. Of course, we're going to check for any leaks before we drive the car away. Fire it up, have a look for any leaks. Just to save anybody the hassle of making comments about me using my hand to drive the fuel pressure gauge in, I'll just say it now. There's a nut underneath, and use the nut to tighten the fuel pressure gauge up. Don't turn it with your hands. Okay, so that's good. Alright, I'll go and start it up and we'll see how it goes. Okay, my first impressions is this is a very good quality product. It shows up on film even, far better than the previous one. This is a good running engine, and the fuel pressure is around about 31 to 41 psi. Okay, very happy. So I'll get back to all the viewers in about 3 months. I'll give you an idea of how reliable it is over the long period of time. Okay, it's a year later. It's the 17th of the 7th, 2016. 1 year later. This gauge has been very good, very accurate. I always test it on the weekends. I start the motor up and just rev the engine, and this goes from say 40 to 45 psi. When I changed the air filter, beg your pardon, the fuel filter, it did have increased psi. Then it settled down, and this is a very good unit. It seems to be strong, and I'm very happy with it. Now I'll start the engine up and we'll compare the fuel pressure gauge with how it was 1 year ago.